Alright, what's up guys? So what we're doing today is going to be a list of top 5 ADCs in my opinion. Now, these may seem a little bit controversial to you guys, but really it's just my opinion, so if you guys have any different ones, make sure to let me know down in the comments. I'm really interested in this kind of stuff. So again, don't just, get mad at me for this. It's just my opinion. I'm not saying like necessarily they'll be the best for you. Otherwise, I just want to say a quick thanks to the people who helped me out. That would be Will, DTF, Tanker, and Nate. So, I guess we'll start the countdown. Kicking off our list here, we'll have Vayne. Now, I know what you're all thinking. Vayne is supposedly one of the best ADCs in the game, which can definitely be true. And I'm going to say it right now. I put her so low simply because it takes a high skill to play her well. You need good players and kind of good teamwork too. But if played well, she's a monster. Now, for pros, your Q will win you most trades. It doesn't seem like all that much, but it's up pretty often, and it's incredible. Your Q with your passive, if you don't know what that is, it lets you chase down people faster if you're an enemy and they're running away from you. Now, with your Q, if you can get that auto off, it lets you chase insanely quickly, and there's no remorse in there. Otherwise, you can completely lock down a target with your E. It's fantastic if you're doing a 1v1. She's a really good duelist. You can just keep him down and it's all over for him. Otherwise, your ult with your Q can be the biggest outplayer in the game. Amazing for team fights. You get 4 evil conversion on you and suddenly you're invisible for a couple of seconds. You've got way higher attack speed, attack damage. You can pin them to the wall and just pick them all off. She's an amazing champion with that. Otherwise, though, as far as cons go, there are a few small issues. She's got a smaller attack range than a lot of ADCs in the game. She's a little bit more reliant on supports having to have CC, which can be a bit of an issue. Otherwise, she's not very good at trading early, as in like before 6. So like, if you want to counter her, just do that, or just try and engage more early on. Otherwise, supports, she's very bad against CC. When she gets locked down, she's all done. There's nothing left for her to do, really. Otherwise, again, she takes really high skill to play, so I wouldn't recommend this champion for everybody, but she's definitely a ton of fun and just a fantastic pick if you want someone to test out your own skill. Now, the other thing I will say, again, is that as much fun as she is and as much of a monster as she can be, you do kind of need a support with more CC so you can change your E on that, and if you don't have that, you're going to have to be one dang good ADC to get your E off. Otherwise, I think that about wraps up the pros and cons for her. Overall, just a fun champion. I'd recommend her. And I guess that's all for this champ. I'll see you guys over at number 4. Coming in at number 2 here, we'll have Graves. This ADC everyone knows about, obviously, and he has had this rework not that long ago, which I did like him before, but now with this new one makes him one of my favorite ADCs in the game. He's got a lot of pros and not all that many cons, at least not many that, affect some people's playstyle. Like, for pros, he has good wave clear, which is really nice for the laning phase, which he's amazing at. He's got a great ult for that. And now for team fighting as well, it's one of my favorites just because it can absolutely devastate. You can pick off random people, you can use it just straight through a line. It's amazing. Plus, you can use it as an escape if you need to. It blows you back over a wall. Otherwise, he's got a really nice late game. You catch anyone off, like in the jungle by themselves, they're done. There's no escaping for him. And he's just a fantastic duelist. Even if someone corners you and you're 1v1, you've got a very solid chance. If you can land that Q, your blind is amazing, and your dash to get around him. It's just fantastic, and otherwise, as cool as some of the combos look with him, he's not exactly the hardest to play. Most people low or high elo shouldn't have all that much issue with him. Now, the only problems with him would be he's not very fast, he's got a fairly low movement speed, and he's like, aside from his dash, he doesn't really have any escapes. I mean, that one's kind of short and it's mostly used for his bonus attack speed and whatnot. Otherwise, he's got a slow attack speed too. Again, with his reload, that can be an issue where if you're trying to fight someone right away, if you don't do your whole burst, then you're kind of screwed. I mean, he's mostly a burst champion. He's not really for those sustained fights. Otherwise, he's got a small attack range. They need to be fairly close for you to actually hit them with the autos, which can be a problem. And then my main qualm with this guy is that if you happen to like come up next to someone and you're about to shoot them, they can outrun your attacks. Like, say this person right in front of me, the Lux, if she were to flash after I auto, she can get away from it. It doesn't necessarily hit her like it would for anyone else. Now, all these issues and pros decided, I put him at number 2 simply because I still think he's an amazing ADC. Or, sorry, number 4. And he's just fantastic, and I'd recommend him to anyone who'd like to play ADC. However, he's more of a top-end jungler, it seems, for like higher elos. He's not so much a marksman as he could be outdone in range. Well, I believe that wraps it up for this champion. I'll see you guys back here at number 3 then. Coming in at number 3, we have the loose cannon Jinx. Now, if any of you have known me for a while here or followed anything, you'll know that Jinx is probably my all-around favorite ADC. But that's just personal stuff. I'm going more of like how everyone would see this champion. Now, I see her as an extreme hyper carry. She's got incredible snowball potential and will just run through an entire team if she gets ahead. Now for pros, she's got really good poke with her Q, with the rockets, and her W, which has incredibly good damage. Otherwise, for her Q, it makes chasing down the enemies really easy. It's just really nice. It's got super long range. Otherwise, her passive is my favorite one of my favorites for an ADC. It just lets you chase down anyone as you're going through it with the amazing movement speed you have. Otherwise, you've got a really high crit on your Q, which makes the damage on those things insane. Your ult is incredible for global ults. I have a thing for those. They're just really nice. You can pick off people on the other side of the map, or just finish off a fight, or just start a team fight off right. Otherwise, her E has really good snare for when you're chasing them down, or if you want to pair it with a Blitzcrank or a Tom Kench, you can throw them into that. It can just make for a really devastating combo. Otherwise, as far as pros go, she's just a really nice, smooth to play champion. There's no like friction or anything on her mechanics. She's just lots of fun, and it's all around a great ADC. As far as cons go, she's got a long cooldown on her E, which means that if you do happen to waste it, you can be screwed over at a later time. Otherwise, when she's about to ult, you can hear her voice from pretty far away, and it's really loud. So if you got your volume on, it's not that hard to tell when she's about to. Otherwise, her ult's always going to be kind of predictable. You'll know when it's coming from and almost always where. Otherwise, her W takes quite a decent amount of time to actually go off. So if you're watching that, it shouldn't be all that hard to dodge. Otherwise, one of the more annoying things that I know about her is if you are chasing down a bunch of people and your passive goes off, which if no one knows, you all should, it's a ton of movement speed. Then if you use Bork, it completely deletes it. You lose all your movement speed and a little bit more. Now, all this aside, she's a lot of fun and her combos can look amazing, but she's not exactly like the hardest to play. She's just one of those hyper carries that can be effective through high and low elos. I'd recommend anyone picking her up immediately. She's a fantastic pusher and just all around a great champion. Now, I think that wraps it up for my number 3 spot. I'll see you guys back here at number 2. Coming in at number 2 here, we have Tristana, who got reworked a little before all the other ADCs did, and she's really, right now, just one of the strongest ones out there. That's why I'm putting her in at number 2. As you can see, she has insane attack range even early on. So a couple things with pros. First thing I'm going to talk about is amazing attack speed with your Q and everything. It just makes for a great laning phase, and I mean, when you can just do this after you kill a champion right here, this is one of my favorite taunts in the game. Sorry, this is just one of the reasons why I like her so much. Otherwise, she has the longest attack range late game due to her passive. Fantastic. She's an incredible duelist. With her knockback, she can get people away from her. Her bomb just makes it so perfect for one-on-one. She has amazing harass again. Your laning phase is going to be a breeze with her as long as you've got a confident support. Now, your jump reset is kind of like Kha'Zix's. It's really good for that, where you can just hop around and just take out tons of people. Otherwise, her pushing is incredible. She takes down towers at an amazing rate. Now, for cons, her Q does have a long cooldown as well as her E, so if you do bait that out, she can be a little bit more useless. She can't farm well under turret if you push her there because of her E passive, it just gets them too low and she ends up losing a lot of CS. Her jump can be stopped by CC, and that can just devastate a Tristana, which is trying to get around. Otherwise, she's prone to items like Thornmail, Sunfire, and or not Sunfire, sorry, and Randuin's, which just it destroys your attack speed. Otherwise, she can be bursted incredibly easily, so if you get on top of her and her ult's down or you can bait it out, it's a lot easier to kill her. Now, all these things aside, she's, again, not the hardest to play. You might be noticing a little bit of a trend with these, but she's just fantastic for team fights, one-on-one, whatever you need. So if you guys do like to main ADC, I would definitely recommend trying her out. She's cheap, she's fun, and she's an amazing ADC. I believe that's all for this champion, so I'll be seeing you guys back here then at number 1. And number 1 is Lucien. As some people may have guessed, he's kind of known right now as being just a fantastic ADC, and he's my number 1 pick personally. He's just all around a great champion right now. He's got really long range abilities, which gives him amazing poke in lane. His Q especially. His W's not all that great, but it can be really nice for getting the double shot passive off, which is my favorite passive for any ADC right now. He's got really high mobility with his long range E, and he's got pretty high movement speed, which also means that he has great kite potential. Otherwise, between his Q, W, and E, right away his combo, that's 6 double shots he can get off, or 3 double shots with 6 regulars that he can get off right away, and that just gives him incredible burst if you were to bring something like a Thunderlords. Otherwise, his ult is amazing for picking off people who are running away, or just, you can go straight through a minion wave if they're trying to dive you, get the tower to focus them, or take down Baron and Dragon that much faster. On the other hand, though, for cons, he does have quite a couple, such as he can easily dodge his ult. Say you just sidestep it, he can't change the direction of it. Randuin's Frozen Heart is very interesting. It actually reduces the amount of shots he can get off because it goes based on his attack speed. Otherwise, being close to him, it reduces his usefulness. He can't poke through minions, and you're going to destroy him if you're really close to him, if he can't get away from you. Otherwise, he's fairly easy to play. He doesn't have all that many issues with him. If you get the right support, you can just absolutely devastate a team. Now, I put him number 1 for a very specific reason. Through low and high elo, he fits really well with many team comps. He can just, with his ult, devastate an entire team. He's very good for outplaying others, and I really value that highly in a champion. And as much as a great champion he is, I also do value how much fun I have with them. And he's just one of my favorites because of that. I love kiting around people with double shots. Now, the other thing I'd say is he also has some of my favorite skins in the game. That's just a little bit of a side note. He's very aesthetically pleasing. Now, I think that wraps it up for my my 5 ADCs. If any of you were to have any other opinions or anything, let me know down in the comments. Just be sure to do that. Otherwise, I guess I'll see you guys in the next episode.